Welcome to the chaos. That is my new office slash writing space slash guest room. If you watched my last video that I uploaded, I shared that me and my husband moved. We actually moved to an apartment before we were living in a house with a lot of space. But we downsized to an apartment and we now live in Orlando. And everything we own is still in boxes for the most part. That is just the way of moving. I feel like it takes like a month for you to get everything out, especially when like you're both working, you both have like outside of work responsibilities, obligations. For us, one of those obligations is preparing for a family cruise. Such a problem, isn't it? We're really excited for that, but there is like a lot of preparation that has to happen, especially because I don't own any summer clothes. I guess I got sick and tired of what I was wearing last summer and got rid of everything. So now I have to go through the whole process of replacing them, which is very exciting for me. I love shopping and I love fashion and I love dressing up, but I also get anxious spending money. Sitting at my desk right now, which I literally set up this morning because I am getting ready to join the Monday live stream that Taylor and Natalie host every week. I'm going to be joining that in like 30 minutes. But before I do that, I'm actually going to be editing some videos for YouTube. I have the video I mentioned literally 2 seconds ago is the one that I got to finish. Got to export it, got to make the thumbnail, got to schedule it. All that jazz. We're still working on the Winds of Destiny. I am past the midpoint now. We're in the bad guys close in section, which I haven't had to do too much edits on, which is really nice. But I'm at a chapter now that I think I do need to like really sit with and think about. So I'm hoping to finish that chapter or at least make it like close to the end of it during the stream. That's like my goal. I told myself I wanted to finish this manuscript before the cruise so that I didn't have to think about it. But the cruise is in 2 weeks. So like I think it's less than 2 weeks now. So I don't know how realistic that goal is. However, I am close to the end of the book. Now, it could be possible, except for the fact that it's like this second half, like this last section of the book is also like the part that needs the most work. However, I do want to push myself to do this in whatever ways I can. So this week, I'm going to take you guys along with me as I just really try to lock in and write. We'll see how it goes. I have an author event I think that I'm going to on Wednesday with the author Tiffany Crum. I haven't read any of her stuff. I literally just saw that the local library was having an author event with her and I was like, I would love to go meet another author, other readers, other writers, and just start getting plugged into like the literary community out here where I live. So I'm hoping to go to that. Anyways, I have my coffee here. I'm gonna get to work because I really want to make sure that I can have the rest of the evening to do the chores I need to do and to write this dang book, okay? Because we are in crunch time. We are in crunch time. I need to do my best to finish this book. Okay, let's get to editing the video. I have like 3 minutes to join this writing stream, and I'm not gonna lie to you, my laptop is like crashing out right now. I need to reheat my coffee before this thing starts because I just know myself and I know that I'm gonna need it because I have to read through the first part of my book before I can like actually get into writing. And there's also like a chatty portion before that, so man, I need to like get my Word document up. I'm like so unprepared, but hey, I mean they're gonna talk for like 20 minutes before, so but I still want to join. I don't want to feel left out. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna put you down. I just feel like I need to be wrapped in this blanket right now. Yeah, I'm feeling chilly, and I'm gonna read over this while I wait for them to start. There is so much to edit right now and I am not okay.
Hello everyone. Woo!
We're here.
Who are you? I'm Taylor. Yes, and I don't even know. We will give you one. And ready to study. Love that.
So the stream just ended. It was a shorter stream today. I I don't know, I feel like this writing session went interesting for me. Like, just the 40-minute sprint, I feel like it was just to kind of get me into the groove a little bit. So I'm probably going to continue and do another 40-minute sprint just by myself. I might do a few of them. We'll see. But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys after the next sprint. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did start freaking out about word count because I looked at my word count and I was at 73,000 words. And for some reason, I kept thinking that a debut fantasy needed to be 80,000 words. A lot of authors have said that that is the sweet spot, especially for like a debut. But I started looking at other debut books that have kind of like that have been published in recent years. Like I'm thinking of like Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, which is one of the comps for my story. And hers is over like 100,000 words. So I don't know what to believe anymore. And so I looked it up again and Google kind of gave me this answer that said like anywhere between 80 to 100K is like a sweet spot for like fantasy, because I'm like, surely people aren't telling these stories in 80,000 words. Like my story needs more time because we have like the real world set up and then we have the magical world set up. And so I'm just trying to stay as true to the story as I can and not freak out about the word count. But it is definitely an issue at the back of my mind because I still have a whole act to get through after this and I'm already at 73,000 words. I'm in the final chunk of Act 2, which to me, in my brain, is kind of its own act. Like everything after the midpoint feels a lot more like its own contained thing. So sometimes I refer to it as Act 3, sometimes I refer to it as Act 2. Right now I'm referring to it as Act 2. And I just went through, I'm like really in the bad guys closing leading into the all is lost portion. And these were two chapters that I had initially gone into this draft thinking I would need to change a lot more of. For example, without giving too much detail or spoilers, our main cast of characters run off like their path on this journey that they're going on. They're interrupted, they're intercepted by creatures of the land that is called like the Freelands, which is filled with like other creatures and other societies that like own those lands and have been given those lands by the ruling monarchy of the four kingdoms of this realm. I said no spoilers, I'm literally sharing so much. But essentially they get an encounter with these characters. And in the original book that I had originally written and self-published back when I was 17, before I started this whole rewrite, I never actually included these creatures. I kind of kept it tucked away for the second book. But as I was rereading the initial book, I was like, okay, I think they need to have a place in this story. And so to kind of raise the stakes and make things more complicated and feel like things are falling apart, I thought that this particular moment after the midpoint was like a really good place to kind of introduce them, insert them, and insert like another subplot, I guess, of the story, which is like emphasizing that there is a lot of division within this kingdom, the kingdom of Elsador. Well, I guess it's a country. There's 4 kingdoms. Let me not mess up talking about my own world that I invented. So the continent of Elsador, if you will, has like 4 kingdoms, and there's groups of people that have been cast out of those kingdoms. And again, I'm not going to spoilers, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I inserted this particular group into the story and I had this scene written up for them and it's just always felt off. There's something about it that feels weird. And so there were things I had like made a list of changes that I wanted to make during this draft and also in the following sequence of chapters. Like I wanted like the huge all is lost moment to happen in a different place than it happens in all my other drafts. And as I'm working on it, I just keep going back to the original. I keep going back to the original manuscript. And I mentioned this in the stream because I needed to know if anyone else experiences this. Because it's like, in some ways it's nice because it's like, okay, I don't have to make any changes. I don't have to do a lot of work on this. I can just leave it as it is and just tweak little things. I also don't know if maybe I'm getting lost again, if I'm getting kind of outside of the big picture and away from the reasons why I wanted to make those changes in the first place, just because it's easier, just because it's not requiring a lot of work for me. Maybe I'm just stuck in the flow of the story. I don't know. I really am having a hard time discerning what is going on. Like, why am I doing this? I mean, these chapters are good. Like, I mean, the chapter with the creatures they encounter definitely needs a lot of cleanup. And I'm probably gonna have to go back at some point in the next draft, which will hopefully be my final draft. I'll have to go back and kind of work through some of that and make some of those changes as well. I'm on one of my favorite chapters in the whole book, and I'm just thinking and trying to make sure that I'm making the correct decisions. It's fine. I'm fine. I promise.
Deadline, I'm like, I don't have time to.
So I just clocked out of work. This was a pretty good work day, I would say. I got a lot done, but it felt like I wasn't super focused, but I was still able to knock out like a lot of things. I am so tempted to just dive right into writing. I've been thinking about this like all day. I'm trying to figure out like when is a good time for me to write. I used to right before going into the office every single day. Since there's been so many changes with my job, I'm having a hard time finding time, like a time that works for me to write. Even before the move, I was tempted to give up on having any kind of writing routine and just like really relying on like those pockets of time that I have. Aside from like writing strictly on Mondays, like I throughout the week don't really have like a set time right now that like I'm going to be working on my books. And I'm kind of feeling like the momentum now to really go and do it, to knock out like at least like an hour of work on it before I move on with the rest of my evening, because quite honestly, I have so many chores to do. I have an email that I have to prepare and send out later tonight for a friend. I have dishes that need to be done. I want to work out. I want to figure out what the heck I'm going to be reading next. There's so many things, which is great. Like, these are good things, but I feel like the writing needs to come first, because if I don't do it now, there's potential that it will not happen. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little fun drink that I have here. I'm going to change into some more comfy clothes, like probably shorts because it's freaking hot outside, and just sit on my balcony and work on my book for like an hour. I think that sounds good. And I think like going outside instead of just staying here at my desk is like good separation from like work, you know? So I think that's what we're gonna do. Oh, also, I released a vlog today. My vlog uploaded, and Becca was the first to comment on it, Becca Tobar. If you're not subscribed to Becca's channel, I definitely recommend. Her videos are just so calming and so... Someone started calling me and I didn't know who it was. Her videos are so calming. They're so like, I don't know, I just like vlogs where like I'm really just like going into people's daily lives. And I just think Becca is just super sweet. She's always leaving super sweet and supportive comments on like my videos and my posts. And yeah, I really love Becca, and I really think that if you are looking for some new aspiring authors, working aspiring authors especially, I definitely think that you should follow her journey, because she's a really cool person. So I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna grab my laptop and I'm gonna go on the balcony and I'm gonna write for an hour, and then I'll do my chores. I am on my lunch break right now. I usually try to keep my lunch break between like 40 minutes, but it's like really like 40 minutes to an hour. But I really wanted to check out a new coffee shop in my area. I've been seeing it online. My husband and I tried to go when we were out here looking for apartments, and we were like at that time looking for a place to like sit and work. This cafe is very small, like it's very hole in the wall small, and it was so packed out. So I'm really hoping it's not packed out right now and that I can get an iced vanilla latte because I am craving that so badly. And I hope it's as good as the internet says it is, because I'm really scared that it's not going to be as good, and I'm really excited about it right now. I of course am going to be listening to the new Harry Styles album, specifically season 2 Weight Loss. When I tell you that this song has me in a chokehold, I screamed at him. I was like, Harold, what is going on? Honestly, this whole album, I love it so much, and I could talk for hours about it, but really, season 2 Weight Loss caught me so off guard, and I'm just like, Harold, what have you done? What have you done? Let's go get some coffee. Okay, off rip, this looks phenomenal. This looks so good. I'm gonna do a taste test really quickly. Okay, this is a horrible angle, but this is how it has to be done because I don't have a tripod for my car yet. I got an iced vanilla latte. It's very sweet, which I don't know how I feel about that. This is so good. Oh my god. The espresso is just so smooth. Like, that's how you know when it's good, is when you can taste the coffee. But it is like, it's just so smooth in the drink. Well, their espresso is really good. I will say it is a little sweet. I probably would have asked for half sweet. But this is delightful, and I will be returning here.
Memoir that they were writing together, that they'd sold when they were bootlegged. Yeah, I mean, and I tore it apart so many times too. Speaking of which, we have a special guest here.
I do a horrible job at updating you guys. I'm just about to finish up work for the day. I'm gonna have to log in tomorrow morning to do a couple things. My brain is fried right now, so I feel like that means it's a good time to just shut it down and just save some things for the morning, which is, I'll be more motivated tomorrow morning. But I wanted to talk to you guys and give you an update because I went to an author event yesterday. It was for the author, Tiffany Crum. She wrote a thriller novel, but it's like a light thriller novel. Like it melds thriller romance vibes. I'll put like the actual like back of the book description somewhere on the screen along with the cover, which is beautiful, by the way. But yeah, so the author event was really cool. This isn't the first author event I've ever been to. It's actually my second. The first one I ever went to was at Yorkdale Mall in Toronto, and it was for Zenith, which is a YA sci-fi by Lindsay Cummings and Sasha Ellsberg, and that was years ago now, like so long ago. And so that was the first author event I had ever been to. I was super nervous and I felt just as anxious at this one, and I didn't even know who the author was. Like I think I said this already, but I never read her book. Her book actually, I found out before I went to the event. I was like doing some research and I found out that her book had come out like yesterday, and by this morning, I guess like book of the month chose her book as their like book subscription for the month. The moment I got there, I was so excited and I was just so happy. I was very nervous before I went. And actually my husband ended up coming to the event with me because I was just getting anxious about like being by myself, and like he had some work to do, so he kind of just like found his own corner in the library, like not too far from where the event was. And I went and I sat and I listened to the conversation. Just like when I watch other author tubers and just when like I watch interviews with other authors, like I always love just hearing about the writing process for every author because it's so different, and just like the little fun quirks that like you do as a writer that are just like super relatable. Like for Tiffany, she was talking about how like she'll work on her writing in the morning and then she'll go on walks with her dogs and she's like dictating her novel as she's on these walks, and everyone thought that was hilarious because it's like you're going down the street walking, like people are seeing you talk to yourself, like what's going on. And I had to chuckle to myself because while I don't dictate my novels, I literally talk to myself and write out scenes when I go for walks. So it was just nice to be validated by that. I promised myself when I went there that I was going to ask a question, and I almost chickened out. I almost could not bring myself to do it. But eventually I found the courage. I told myself really what it was is I looked at myself and I was like, if you don't do this, you're gonna be so mad at yourself. So I raised my hand, I asked a question, and really it was just hard for me to come up with one question to ask. The first question I thought of was like, oh, like how many books did you write like before you published this one or before you wrote this one? And I think that's a really like a question I love asking a lot of authors, because a lot of the time it's not their first book. A lot of the time it's like this is like their 12th book or maybe their 3rd book. And I just think it's really encouraging knowing that there's always second chances. You can always try again if like you do fail and you do get rejected in the Cleary trenches. The question I asked was, are you a drafting person or are you a revisions person? And she responded saying that she was a revisions person, which again I felt super validated by because girl same. Girl same. I hate drafting. Drafting, I think it's because it's so imperfect and it's so not what I see in my head, and I'm impatient. So I like revising because I already have something to work with. But yeah, it was a really cool event. I got to meet some new people. Her editor was there also. I forgot to mention that. And I told myself that I was going to talk to them. I was going to go talk to the author and I was going to go talk to the editor. And specifically the editor, I wanted to ask like a lot more questions about just like the editing process. Like, does she work for a publishing house? Is she an independent editor? Like, genres do you edit? Because I might need one. But yeah, like I did really want to talk to her, but honestly, I already got myself to do two things. First of all, going. Second of all, asking a question that I was like deathly afraid to do. So yeah, I just chatted with the readers, which I think is fantastic. And I did mention that I was a writer. So technically I did 3 things that I was deathly afraid to do. Okay, it is like 4-something p.m. I'm clocked out of work. There's banana bread baking in my oven right now. And I'm about to write for basically the duration of the time that the banana bread is in there. I'm out on my porch, so it's gonna be pretty loud, probably because people are gonna start coming home from work soon who live in this complex. But right now it's quiet and it feels like it's about to rain, which is, you already know, it's already the perfect moment. So I'm gonna do a like 30-minute writing sprint and save my banana bread and then probably start making dinner. But we'll see. I might get another sprint in, but here goes the evening marathon. we are about to walk in, okay? It is Friday, and I am, I believe, like 6 days out from my self-imposed deadline for finishing this book, aka 6 days away from the cruise. I think it's 7 days, actually. I don't know. Editing Charlotte is gonna put the countdown on the screen. Got up this morning and I did some writing first thing to try and get into the scene. Last night, I made a lot of progress. I got through the chapter that I was in. The prose needs work, okay? I'm gonna have to go back and edit the prose, and I think that's gonna be the case for like the whole last few chapters of the book. But I wrote the all is lost scene. That was what I was working on. It's so crazy. Like, I cannot believe just the torment that I was so willing to put my characters through. I did make some like pretty big changes, and this scene is one of the ones that's gonna have to be pretty much entirely reconstructed, which is very frustrating, but it's just a lot of deep work. And I knew last night after finishing the all is lost chapter, like getting into the darkest night of the soul, like these are kind of like deep work chapters, and so I was like, let me save it for tomorrow when I have the whole day. So started that this morning, ran into some things, had to step away. I went for a walk, and then I went on a treadmill walk and started listening to another episode of the Plot Twist podcast. And then I went back to that coffee shop because I need sustenance. Got my iced vanilla latte and I grabbed lunch. So I'm all set to just lock in. I am going to be writing this book all day today. Right now, I'm going to finish listening to that podcast episode as I eat, and then I'm gonna get just like right into it because I do not have a lot of time, and I know that this chapter is gonna take me a while to like really get to a place that I'm proud of. So let's get to writing. I am 4 days away from my deadline, and I'll be honest, I did not get as much work on this book as I needed to this weekend. And so today is my author day, and it is strictly dedicated to working on this dang book, okay? Because I am still at the end of Act 2. I got super stuck on a scene from the darkest night of the soul moment. It's just like there were just a lot of changes that I needed to make for that scene, and it's like a deep emotional scene. I knew it was going to be deep work, and it's just not coming out the way that I want it to at all. And I'm at that point where I'm like, do I take my time with it and just keep revising this one section, or do I just get something out on the paper and finish this draft? And I think this morning, as I've been kind of rewriting and like reworking what I had written the other day, I've kind of come to that conclusion where it's like, I need to just get something out on the paper for this draft and move on to the rest of it, because my self-imposed deadline is in 4 days. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the plan moving forward. So my writing is going to be horrible. The perfectionist in me is very disturbed. Truly horrified at the thought of doing this, but I think that this is like the method that a lot of authors and writers use when working on their stories, is to just like, you know, at certain points in your draft, like you have to just get something out, and you can go back and revise it when you go through it again, because like this isn't going to be my final draft of this book. Like, I don't know if I ever said that, and if I did, what was she thinking? Because like this, there's just no way. This draft was definitely a developmental draft for me, and it continues to be just a draft where I am really trying to piece together the story. Like, I know what the story is, but like I'm not seeing it on the page in the way that like my character's development really ties in with everything that's going on in the story. So I've been going through this draft trying to like create those moments and those links, and like up until this point it's been like not a lot of rewriting, but I'm in the part of the book now, like the tail end of the book, that just needs a lot of reworking in order for me to hit those right story beats. And I'm going to try to finish that in the 4 days, but like to be honest, these chapters are like deep work chapters. And I'm a little bit at a point where I really want to finish this by Friday, but I don't know actually how realistic that is because I am going to be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Also preparing to go on this trip. I'm packing and everything. So this coffee is like doing nothing for me. But yes, I have the stream today, and so I just wanted to get some writing in right now in preparation for that. But I've been here for a couple hours now, and I think I need a break. And I think I just need to like get up, stretch, do a couple things, and then, you know, get settled into doing another sprint and continue doing sprints because we're going to be doing them on the live stream as well. So I just found out that Taylor and Natalie are not streaming today. There is no stream today because they are both ill, which I pray that you guys get better. Obviously, take your time. Like, even though like my plans are generally gonna be the same, like I'm gonna be doing my own sprints myself, it's just one of those days where like it would have been a lot easier alongside other people. So I'm gonna keep writing. I think I'm having some kind of breakthrough in the scene. It's actual garbage, what I've written, but progress is happening and I am trying very hard to push through.
3 days later.
I'm on my porch again for another writing session. We are a single day out from my deadline right now. I think I have maybe 3 to 4 chapters left to write, maybe 2. It depends. I'm still trying to figure out how I want the ending to like play out with like a lot of the changes that I made. So I'm trying to get like just like my thoughts in order in regards to that. I feel like it may be 3 chapters. I think I can do it. I think I can finish the book. I really do. It is like almost 3 o'clock now. I'm still clocked into work, but I'm kind of ran out of work to do. I got really ahead on a lot of my stuff for our cruise. Also, yes, I did get my nails done. Thank you for asking. I'm on call right now if they need anything. I've asked like a couple questions that I need some responses from. So instead of going on social media, I'm going to force myself to write my book and hopefully finish it either today or tomorrow because I'm off work tomorrow. But like I'm really trying to get things together for our trip. Ignore literally everything about my appearance right now. I just woke up. I made myself a latte. It's been a long time since I've used my espresso machine, and I also haven't been able to get the espresso that I personally really like, so I had to get the Starbucks espresso. It just doesn't hit the same. Like, I'm very unimpressed. It's Friday, March 20th. I'm about to finish draft 4 of The Winds of Destiny. It feels crazy that I've kind of been able to do this. This is like the hardest I've ever pushed myself. I've set deadlines for myself before, and like every time it just like never happened. But because I knew I was going on this trip, I was like, I have to finish it. Like, I actually don't have a choice. And I think knowing that like really just helped me like lock in and really helped me push through, especially because on Monday I really did not think that I was gonna finish it. I was so stuck in the end of Act 2, and now I'm on the last chapter of the book. I just can't believe it. And like the ending of the book is better than anything that I could have imagined. Like, I definitely am gonna struggle with this last chapter because Like all the beats that like I knew needed to happen in Act 3 have taken place. And this is kind of like the final image, but it's really just like a wrap-up chapter on like that final moment. So who knows, I might reread this and be like, this is crap, you have to redo it again. I'm very hopeful that the book is as close right now as it can be. And I know that when I go through it on draft 5, which again we'll talk about later because I don't even want to think about that right now, it's just gonna get even closer and even better. And I'm hoping at that point I can send it off to literary agents. Maybe another beta reader if I'm feeling really nervous, because I am very nervous. I'm yapping now. Let's finish writing my book. I finished the book. There are tears because I'm relieved, but also because the ending of this book, y'all are gonna hate me. Everyone's gonna hate me. That's just the truth. And yet I love it so much. Again, like this draft is not perfect. There are still things I need to tweak. There are still threads I need to pull together. Act 3 is a mess. Prose wise and like probably like dialogue wise, like I think I definitely need to like really get into the weeds of the ending of this book. I think I just wrapped it up in like the most perfect way. You have to understand, I have been working on this book for longer than 10 years. Online, I always say 10 years. I started writing this book in the 9th grade. I started writing that book throughout all of high school. I self-published it when I graduated high school. This is the original book that I published. I went through this and started highlighting things. I started reading through it. I immediately was like, I have to make this better. Like, this story deserves more than what I was capable of giving it at the age of 17. Since like the summer of 2021, I have been rewriting this book. It is now spring of 2026. I have been working on this book for so long, and finally it feels like it's there. This has been years of my life. So much time, so much thought, so much learning, failing, energy, sacrifice to finish a draft that I'm proud of. And this draft isn't even perfect. And because I'm really hoping to traditionally publish this book, that process is a long one and it hasn't even started yet. As much as I want to be published, I know that I am so happy with where the book is at. The story that is written in there is powerful. I know it's going to speak to someone, and that's really my hope. Like, I wrote this story for myself when I was a teenager because I wanted to read something like this. Then later on, when I graduated college, I started writing it for that version of myself, for the version that was lost and like was unsure of like who she wanted to be, what she wanted to do with her life, feeling grieved for the things that were happening in the world at the time, for friends lost, for past stuff that like was also kind of coming back for me at that time period. And so I started writing on this book, and here we are. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Writing this book and its sequel, I don't even want to talk about that right now, but writing this book and working on these stories, I have never worked so hard on something in my whole life. Like, I literally used to quit so many things. Like, I started piano, I quit. I like, you know, I still play guitar here and there, but like I really quit for like a time period there. Like, soccer, quit. Field hockey, quit. Theater, left in the past, but that's because it was replaced by writing. Yeah, this is the thing that has stuck with me the longest, and I think it's gonna stay with me until the literal end of my days. I just really hope that the world gets to read it, or even just the people in my life who have like supported me and have like really seen me like walk through this journey. That is what I would like, is literally I just want to share this story with someone. I just want people to read it, and I want to share it. And I think it's because I don't want it. I don't want to hoard it to myself. Like I don't want to be alone in it anymore. And I think that's the joy of being a creative person, is sharing your art. It's like, yes, like creating it is like its own enjoyment for the most part. Well, even the hard stuff, like even when it's like impossible to write, like once you push through that, it feels so worth it and so good, and the payoff is so there. I think the real joy is coming from sharing it, and it is seeing people read your book, get invested in the characters that you've invested so much of your time and your life and yourself to. I think it's that feeling of being understood. It's like, okay, you've seen me work on this for literal years. You've seen me work on this for hours. You've heard me talk about it so much. And it just would be such a relief to see this version of the book, like literally in the hands of people I know. I finished the draft in an hour. I'm not talking about my editing process in this clip because I'm not ready to think about that right now. So post cruise vacation, Charlotte will be speaking to you on that. It's done. I did it.